Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to Teaching Through COVID. Again, my name is Peyton Bush, and today was day 19 with students. We have made it through our first official week of hybrid style. It's been a crazy week. What I'm saying is, it's our first week hybrid style. We had been teaching the past 3 weeks 100% online. At the beginning of the week on Monday, we started our hybrid model. I've been explaining that kind of how it goes, but just briefly, we have two cohorts, so our hybrid kids have been split into two different groups. Cohort A comes at the beginning of the week. We go Monday, Tuesdays, and cohort B comes on Thursdays and Fridays, and then we alternate who comes on any given Wednesday. So again, Monday, cohort A came. They were here Monday and Tuesday. At the end of this week, cohort B was a part of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like I said, it was our first week of doing this. It was the first week of everybody being back in the building for the first time in 6 months, believe it or not. And it was awesome. It was nice to have everybody back in the building. It's nice to see all the kids again. Granted, it's not all 800 kids that are normally in the school, but having roughly 200 or so every day is still nice. It's better than Zoom meetings all day long. So that's where we're at. As of right now, we haven't gotten any news about changes moving forward. So that's, if no news is being shared, that's typically good news. So we will continue moving forward, at least for the next week or two, in our hybrid model. And again, they're continually monitoring the positivity rates and the positive numbers, not only now in the community, but also in the school district. Our school district here in Iowa City is doing a great job of doing some contact tracing. We have some very nice, clear-cut and easy to understand, no questions asked, guidelines to what to do. If you do test positive, if you do come in contact with somebody that may or may not have it, we have guidelines for almost every scenario that I think we could have thought of before we came back into the hybrid model. So that's nice. It's a nice peace of mind knowing that we do have those steps already in place. But again, I guess in this situation, you would have to do that before you could really come back. But still, nonetheless, it is kind of relieving to know that we do have those steps. I guess a couple takeaways from today and this week. I've mentioned it all week long, making and coming up with the asynchronous work, so the work that the students are doing when they're not in the building. Honestly, that will be the bane of all of our existence this school year, just because we all are kind of in this weird spot. Just maybe as a science teacher, I'm saying, maybe not for math or lit or any other class, but for science, it's a really kind of hard class subject to teach remotely like that while also teaching kids in the classroom. It's difficult to find that middle ground of tough enough or challenging enough material where the kids have enough background knowledge and will be able to perform well enough on it at home without your immediate guidance. But then also you don't want to find something that's too extreme, either way above what we know or way below and belittling to the student, because then that also is harmful in a way as well. So that will be a challenge, I guess, for me as a science teacher. I'm not sure about my other colleagues. We've been communicating and sharing ideas with one another. But for the other subjects, the teachers that teach those subjects, I'm not sure, again, how maybe asynchronous work will go. Math, it's pretty easy. You just give them practice problems to do and then go over it whenever they come in class and teach you new concepts in the days that you have them in class. But like I said, science, those concepts build on one another, and it's really hard to come up with an activity that introduces a concept, again, without maybe over-teaching it or under-teaching it. Again, there's just a lot of different angles, a lot of different things that I think about when creating this work. I don't know if I'm an overthinker and that's part of my problem right now. I don't know if I'm just more stressed at the core than what I realize, and so that's why I'm overanalyzing and overthinking these situations. But I care about these kids. I don't want them to feel like they're being left behind. I don't want them to feel like they're doing busy work. So that's where really my challenge and my struggles are coming from right now. To add to that, finally getting some grades in for my 8th graders. It's amazing, again, once you start to put grades in, how work suddenly gets done. That should have been done a week or two ago already, I guess. But I mean, we're here to help these kids grow as people. Yeah, I understand we're supposed to learn science along the way. However, science is not for everybody, and I get that too. But again, it's teaching them personal skills. It's teaching them the soft skills of what it takes to be a good person, a good employee eventually in their life. And due dates are a big one. So I do stress them. However, though, again, right now with everything going on, if the kid misses the due date, if they hand it in, things will be fine. Again, I know some people may have some things to say about that and say that's not truly helping the kid, hear that and the other. But you know what? There could be arguments that support me as well. So it is what it is. October 12th, we have our hard start date for hopefully our junior high girls swimming and our junior high boys basketball seasons to start. Should be October 12th. We have our athletic secretary. We have a great athletic secretary, Nikki. She does a fantastic job of keeping everybody grounded, keeping everything organized. She has sent out parent emails for people to sign up because typically we have hard copies of permission forms. There's a permission to practice form and then the physical that you need from your doctor. Both of those have to be handed in before you can practice and play. But like I said, she has done a great job of putting together this email that was sent home that allowed parents and kids to decide whether or not they wanted to sign up, and they could sign up straight through the email. So there shouldn't be as many papers coming in and out. Hopefully the only ones that maybe are physicals that get handed in. But still, I don't know what we would do without her. I don't know what I would do without her, considering I teach. I coach 3 sports here at the junior high and then 1 at the high school. My life would be a whole heck of a lot more hectic if she wasn't around. Again, we're a week out from the start date, but numbers are extremely low. That's somewhat to be expected with everything going on. It's, understandable as well. Like I'm telling my kids, I completely understand and respect your decision if you decide not to come out and play. But if you do so, there will be guidelines to follow, and if you can't follow those guidelines, then maybe this isn't the year to play either. I know that sounds a little harsh, but in reality, that's just how things need to be and should be sometimes, because then that's where people get the sense of entitlement that they don't have to follow along with any rules or procedures or things like that. Again, could be wrong, but that's just my own personal opinion on things a little bit. But again, we'll start practice October 12th. We'll have 8th grade practice in the morning, 7th grade practice in the afternoon. Because we have 2 cohorts, the kids are split up even more than they normally are. We typically, again, would have everybody come to practice after school or before school. That would be all the 8th graders in my case. We go through about a couple of days, 3 to 4, maybe at the most, where everybody's together. We're practicing and doing a bunch of skill work so us as coaches can assess how these players are and then determine what team maybe they should be placed on. We have 2 A teams. We typically have 2 A teams, 2 B teams, and 2 C teams. This year, though, our numbers, like I mentioned, are really, really low, and we're also split up. And so our A cohort, they would practice Monday and Tuesday, and when games start, would have games on Tuesdays. Our B cohort then would practice Thursday and Friday, and then when games start, they would play their games on Thursday. Granted, that does really stink because now you're really splitting your kids up. One cohort could be way more stacked than the other. Those will just be things that we have to kind of figure out as we go along. There are a bunch of other logistical things that I don't think have necessarily been answered because there's no lockers here at our school right now due to construction. So we have no locker rooms for the kids to change in beforehand. We don't know the lockers at the arena where we're all playing because we were using a new arena here in Iowa City to play all of our junior high games at. So that's exciting, but we don't know logistically how everything's going to go. We don't know how much parking there is. Players will be allowed essentially 2 tickets to let people in to watch their game. So that could be like parents, grandparents, guardians. It could be 1 parent and a sibling. It could be 2 siblings. It could be a cousin and a sibling. Really, 2 tickets for whoever can come or wants to come. I don't know if they're going to try to limit that age-wise or not. My guess is probably 2 tickets for 2 family members would be my guess, and not necessarily friends. However, that will be something we kind of discuss moving forward. Next week, though, we have first a coaches meeting at the beginning of the week, and towards the end of the week, we'll have a parent meeting to share all that information, to make sure all the people have the paperwork filled out and done with, understand what's going to be asked of the students and the families during these seasons, and to take any questions that they may have as well. We all know this is confusing times, and there are tons of questions, and we know it's frustrating when those questions don't get answered. But guys, it's also important to know, like, people are working to find those answers, and just because somebody doesn't have it right that second doesn't mean you deserve to treat them any less of a person. Just because they don't know doesn't mean anything about them. Maybe somebody above them doesn't have the answer, so they don't know. There's a bunch of reasons why somebody may not have the answer. Yes, sometimes some negligence may play a role in it, but right now, I mean, just be a good person, okay? If somebody says something, if they ask a question, don't necessarily know what's going on, just have some patience with them, give them some time to find the answer, or you may have to find somebody else to ask. But again, it'll be interesting. I'm excited to get back into the swing of that and to see how it goes. It will be an interesting season, and I guess we'll just have to play it by ear. I can't wait to start. Like I said, they're short seasons, 6 weeks typically. Roughly 1 week left of that, we'll start high school basketball, and then high school basketball goes until junior high track. So really, I have one more free week left of my school year already, so I'm ready to buckle in and hang on for the ride. I hope you guys are ready to kind of follow along with me again. Guys, welcome back to Teaching Through COVID. I appreciate all the little support that I've been getting. Again, this is basically for me to just get ideas, feelings, and things off of my chest. If you guys have any input, anything you would like to add, please comment. Please send me a message one way or another. I'd love to collaborate. I'd love to hear some of your ideas. Again, as I come across them, I try to include them in my video. Recently, I just haven't had any, so that's why there hasn't really been any tips. But we're getting there. Things are getting easier. Things are starting to be a little bit more simpler, made simpler for us teachers, and a little bit easier for our students as well. So again, we can only try our best every day and just hope for the best. Like I told my kids today, put your best foot forward, stay positive, and do your best, and your life will be going in the right direction. Have negative thoughts, make the bad decisions, then you're not setting yourself up for success or to live too much of a happy life later on. Again, I am honest with my students. Sometimes I catch myself maybe saying things that are a little too honest. I try not to be, but again, being a young teacher, you're still trying to learn those boundaries, I will admit. But again, we're all people. It all takes time for everybody, so I'm not too concerned. I love what I do. I get good reports back from my kids. Parents, for the most part, I think, seem to enjoy their kids in my classroom, or having their kids have me. No problems yet with administration, but again, I'm getting better every day. I'm trying to get better every day. That's all I can ask of my kids, and that's all we can ask of each other. So that's all I have for our first Friday in our hybrid model, guys. Again, be nice to your friends, drink your water, wear your mask, stay safe.